Hello, everybody. So, today we will be discussing the types of major accounts. So, we will be talking about the different elements of financial statements. So, what are the account titles or what are the kinds of major accounts that we can see in the financial reports or financial statements that accountants prepare? Okay, so before anything else, let us review this accounting equation. A is equals to L plus C, or assets is equals to liabilities plus capital. Remember that assets are the resources of a company that would give them or provide them future economic benefits, and then liabilities are their obligations that they need to answer, and then capital is the residual interest in the assets of a business after deducting all of the liabilities. So now let's dig deeper with these three, and also we will be discussing revenue and expenses today. Okay, so let's proceed now to assets. So given to you now are the different kinds of assets. Now we have two kinds of assets. We have current assets and non-current assets. Well, to make it very, very simple, current assets are those assets that are related to their normal operating cycle, or those that are useful 1 year after the reporting period. So when we say current assets, yung gamit nila is quite something that is just within 1 year or within the normal operating cycle of a company. When I say normal operating cycle, it's their usual operations that they have cash, and then buy inventory that they will sell, and then render service or sell these products to customers, then they will receive cash because of that, and the cycle goes on and on again. Okay, so that's the normal operating cycle. So anything that is related to the normal operating cycle of a company, or something that is just within 1 year, that is basically current asset. And then when we say non-current asset, edi kung hindi siya current asset, non-current siya. Kasi usually those non-current assets, yung mga pangmatagalan talaga natin ginagamit na assets. Okay, so for current assets, we have cash. So you maybe have a, an understanding of cash by itself. So, but basically, cash is the company's money. Okay, and then we also have accounts receivable. When we say accounts receivable, let's say for example, you already rendered services to your customers, or you already sold goods to them, but the payment was not yet received by the company. So you are expecting to receive something from your customers, you will record them as accounts receivable. Basically, when your customers are not yet paying you for the goods that you sold them or for the services that you rendered them, then that is an account receivable. Okay, and then we also have office supplies. So the usual things that you know, like pens, papers, that is being used in the office, printer cartridges, things like that. So that also is included in office supplies. Merchandise inventory. Inventory are the stocks or the goods that the company sells. Okay, so for grocery, lahat ng mga canned goods doon, mga diapers. Diaper talaga example ko. But anyway, anything that the company sells, that's their inventory. Okay? And then any prepayments covering less than 1 year. There are times that companies pay for their rentals in advance, let's say for 6 months. Di syempre hindi mo pa naman nagagamit yun kasi hindi pa dumadaan yung 6 months. Asset mo yun kasi parang meron kang bala for 6 months na bayad ka na ng renta for 6 months kahit hindi mo pa siya nagagamit. So that's an asset. But it will only be regarded as a current asset if it covers less than 1 year. Okay? And then for non-current assets, we have receivables sometimes that are that will not be received by the company within 1 year, so that will be regarded as a long-term receivable. Okay, then we also have the company's land, and then if they own also the building that they have. Pero remember ha, pag ang company ay nagre-rent lang ng office space, they cannot record the building as their own. Okay, so wala silang mare-record na building. Okay, and then we also have equipment and machineries, lalo na yung malalaking machineries for manufacturing firms. Yan, kasama yan sa non-current assets. And then yung mga furnitures and fixtures, furniture, office furniture, chairs, tables, something like that. Fixtures, lahat na ini-install. Okay, cabinets, mga sa CR, anything that is being installed. Okay, those are fixtures. Investments in equity securities, sometimes the company purchases stocks from other companies. They own shares of other companies. So those are investments in equity securities. Pero titingnan niyo rin kung ilang percent na yung kanilang na-purchase kasi it might be an investment in associate or baka na-purchase na nila yung kalahati ng company that they exercise control. But basically, those things will not be discussed for now. So let's just put it in the basic way. Okay? And then we also have intangible assets, those without physical substance, like patents and copyrights. Investment properties are those properties that are held by the company or owned by the company for rentals or for capital appreciation. And then we also have prepayments extending more than 1 year. So if you have prepayments extending more than 1 year, like insurance policies, then that would fall under non-current assets. But the current portion of the prepayments within 1 year will be recorded as a current asset. So basically, those are the examples of current and non-current assets. Some of those terms will be introduced to you deeply one by one as the lesson goes along the way. Okay, so let's discuss now liabilities. Like assets, we also have current liabilities and non-current liabilities, and it functions the same way. So if it's payable within 1 year, then that is a current liability. But if it is longer than 1 year, then that is a non-current liability. And basically, if your liability is related to trade or your normal operating cycle, then that would also be regarded as a current liability. So we have accounts payable. Accounts payable, we can say that that is the opposite of accounts receivable. Diyan naman tayo yung nabigyan ng service or tayo yung bumili ng products or tayo yung bumili ng something from our suppliers pero hindi pa tayo bayad. At dahil di pa tayo bayad, we are expecting to pay that, syempre, that obligation. So that is an account payable. So you can see the difference, di ba? Pag accounts receivable, ito yung nagbigay na tayo ng goods and services pero hindi pa tayo binabayaran ng customer. Sa accounts payable naman, nabigyan na tayo as a company ng goods and services pero di pa tayo nagbabayad. So utang natin yon. Okay, accounts payable. And then we also have short-term notes payable. When we say notes payable, these are borrowings that the company did, and then they sign a promise to pay, a promissory note of promise to pay. And if it is payable just within 1 year, then that is a short-term note payable. Then we also have unearned revenue. Let's say, for example, the company has already paid, the company has already received payment from customers in advance pero hindi mo pa nare-render yung service sa kanila or the goods are not yet provided, then that is an unearned revenue. So utang natin sa kanila yung service kasi nagbayad na nga sila, 'di ba? Nagbayad na sila in advance pero tayo yung hindi pa nakakapagbigay ng service sa kanila. So that's an unearned revenue. Okay? Then we also have accruals. Best example for that are expenses natin within the period pero next period pa natin mababayaran. So that is an expense pero that is also a payable. Kasi expense na siya for that period pero hindi pa tayo bayad. So those are considered accruals or accrued expenses to be very specific. And then liabilities or obligations that fall under just within 1 year after the reporting period, and that will also be regarded as a short-term liability. Okay? And then for non-current liability, those that are extending within the outside the normal operating cycle or more than 1 year, which includes long-term notes payable, bonds payable, deferred tax liabilities, and other long-term liabilities. So the terminologies might be new to you, but don't worry, we will be discussing them a little bit deeper as the lessons go by. Okay, and then for capital, so depending on the form of the business organization, ang ating capital accounts. Okay, so for sole proprietorship, we have owner's equity and the drawings of the owner. So tig isang account sa capital ng owner at sa drawings niya. Okay? And then for partnership, there are as many capital accounts based on the number of partners. So kung 4 ang partners ng partnership, 4 na capital accounts. At kapag ka-4 din ang ang partners dun sa partnership, apat din ang drawing account. Okay. Now, we have some kind of variation in corporation. Remember that in corporation, the ownership in the corporation is divided into shares of stocks. So, lahat ng shares of stock na yon that was purchased, yung mismong value niya, yun yung tinatawag nating share capital. Pero minsan ay binebenta kasi ng corporation yung stocks na yon sa mas malaking halaga with a specific value. So, the excess of that will be share premium. And then, lahat po ng kinikita ng corporation ay naiipon sa account na tinatawag nating retained earnings. But basically, for this lesson and for FABM1, we will be dealing first with the sole proprietorship type of business. Huwag nyo munang pansinin yung partnership and corporation na nasa harapan nyo ngayon. Huwag nyong pahirapan yung sarili nyo. Okay. Now, so, yan na po yung ating mga kinds of assets, liabilities, and capital. And punta tayo ng revenue. So, for service company, syempre, service revenue. Pero hindi tayo limited sa paggamit ng word na service revenue. Pwede tayong gumamit ng professional fees earned, blank 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 earned, blank 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 revenue, depending on the company kung ano yung gagamitin yung account. As long as it signifies revenue, there is no problem for that. Okay, but if you are a merchandising and or a manufacturing company and you sell products, then you should use sales revenue. Okay, or simply sales, pwede na yon. Okay. Meron pa tayo ding iba-ibang revenue. Basta always remember, depending on the function of the revenue, yun yung ilalagay mong account title. What if nagpaparenta ka, edi rent income o kaya rent revenue? Paano kung ikaw ay kumukomisyon sa mga extra things na ginagawa ng company? Edi commissions revenue, commission income. So, again, depending on the income of the company, yun ang itatawag mo sa account title na yun. Depende sa kung anong function niya, kung anong revenue siya. Okay? And then, lastly, we have different kinds of expenses. Well, you know this for a fact, mga pinagkakagastusan ng company to continue operating, like salaries, pasahod natin sa empleyado, rent expense happens only kapag tayo ay may nirerentahan, ha? Okay? And then we also have utilities like our electricity and water. Pwede mo na rin sama dyan yung internet kung gusto mo. Okay? And then depreciation. Later on, we will be discussing what depreciation is, but just a simple overview of depreciation. Our assets like building, machineries, furniture, syempre pagdaan ng panahon, pagdaan ng mga taon, naluluma yan unti-unti. So, we have a systematic way of allocating the cost of an asset depending kung ilang years na siyang nagagamit at kung paano siya naluluma. Ang tawag doon, depreciation expense. We will be discussing that in the next chapters as well, okay? Then we also have repairs and maintenance, lalo na sa ating mga automobile and machineries. Minsan kailangan ng repairs at syempre gagastusan natin ng maintenance. Also, gas and oil, lalo na dun sa mga company na nagde-deliver or may mga truck sila o di kaya travel and tour services. Syempre, kailangan ng gas, kailangan ng oil nung mga basta yon, mga mga sasakyan. Okay? And then we also have representation expenses. Syempre, the company usually goes out for meetings. Syempre, mga pakapakain yan, di ba? Gagastos ang company. Okay? So, that's representation. And then we also have transportation expenses. May inutusan ka na liaison officer, yung inyong or delivery ganito o yon, no? Pero hindi kayo gumamit ng automobile ng company, mga ganun tipo, no? Pinagastos nyo ng transportation, ganun yun. Okay, transportation expenses that is answered by the company. Okay, we also have communication expenses and many others. Bakit many others? Again, depending on the function, kung ano yung bagong account title na mabubuo. Okay, so remember that the company has the liberty to use account titles as long as it is very understandable. Remember that one of the enhancing qualitative characteristic of useful financial information is it should be understandable, 'di ba? So dapat hindi din tayo gamit ng account title na hindi rin naiintindihan ng users of accounting information. Okay, let's move on to chart of accounts. Chart of accounts is a listing of the names of the accounts that a company has identified and made available for recording transactions. As we record transactions kasi, we need to classify them afterwards eh. Hindi pagka-record mo, tapos na, sasummarize mo na lang, hindi siya ganon, okay? After natin kasi mag-record ng transaction, ka-classify pa natin kung anong function yun, kung anong account yung tinamaan nun, okay? So, a company should prepare a chart of accounts. So, let me give you an example of chart of accounts, and this is the chart of accounts that we will be using for the lessons in the next videos. Okay? So, for example, assets. Kunyari, ang ginamit natin sa asset is account code 1. So, ibig sabihin, pag lahat ng assets mo ay 1, pag yung account number nung accounts mo ay nagsa-start sa 1, ibig sabihin asset yon. O yan, cash, accounts receivable, office supplies, prepaid rent, automobile, office equipment, furniture, and fixtures. Tsaka na natin pag-usapan ano yung nakikita nyong accumulated depreciation. Okay? And then we will also be using account code number 2 to represent liabilities. Yan, accounts payable, notes payable, unearned local travel fees, unearned international travel fees, and interest payable. If you can see, ang ginamit nating account title, local and international travel fees. Kasi yung gagamitin nating example ay isang travel and tourist agency or travel and tour services. And then for capital, ang gagamitin natin is account code number 3. So we have the capital of the owner, the drawing account of the owner, and profit or loss summary. Tsaka na natin pag-usapan yung profit or loss summary. And then we also have revenue as account code number 4, local travel fees earned, yung mga dinadala nilang customers sa local destinations. Yan ang gagamitin nating revenue account. Pero pag dinala mo na sila sa Japan, sa South Korea, sa Thailand, ang gagamitin natin yung account code 402, international travel fees earned. At kapag naman account code 403, lahat ng iba pang travel assistance fees na binayad sa kanila, like creation of itineraries or visa assistance. And then, account code 5, gagamitin natin for different kinds of expenses. Okay, so I hope that you understand our lesson today, and if you have any questions again, please put them down in the comment section below. Next lesson is about... Actually, nakalimutan ko. Okay, yun lang. Bye-bye. Have a great day. Love you.